babies decided to snuggle with me. I was going to do a Halloween video while talking about my ghost stories, but I have the misfortune of coming down with a cold. So I've been right for about 3 weeks now. I did go to the Expo, but I was all medicated up. And I did do a COVID test prior. It came back negative, and I did one on the way back. Well, I did one when I got back, and that was also negative, so that was a good sign. It's just cold. Most people actually have it now, the cold. Didn't go around spreading it. Alright, baby girl. You've been keeping me company. Although when I was at the Expo, I wasn't really suffering anyway. This cold's been hitting me in waves. It's like, for like 2 days, it'll be rough, and like 2 or 3 days after, I'm fine, and then maybe like another 2 days, I'll be rough again, and that cycle will just keep repeating. And yesterday, I just ended up as rough as a dog. I'll have to delay my ghost story for a bit. Or should I? Nah. It's only 5 minutes. I'll tell you my earliest ghost story. I went to a school in Wirksworth, which is Central Derby. Because, you know, you go from like Nottingham, Derby, you head up to Dalper, then you hit Wirksworth. And after that, it's like Bakewell, Buxton, Chesterfield, or if you're heading, I think it's westward, or no, it's east. East is Chesterfield. And then west is Glossop, which is literally bordering Manchester. So yeah, county I'm from is a tall one. So I went to Wirksworth, and the school I went to is called Older Worsley, which is for the disabled. And since I have Asperger's and dyslexia, it's, amongst other things, like OCD, I kind of qualified for special needs teaching. And Older Worsley used to be an old manor house that got converted into a school. And I can't remember the lady whose spirit haunts the place, but she's basically Older Worsley's grey lady. She walks the halls. You would hear disembodied voices. You would hear crying. You'd hear like muffled talking between two people in another room. You can't hear what they're saying, but you can actually hear there's a conversation going off. So I was about 5 or 6 years old, starting my second year, and I was walking to the computer room on the ground floor, because there's 2 entrances. You've got a side entrance and a main entrance, and all the students have to go through the side entrance. So we went through the side entrance, past the library, through a door, past the main entrance hall, and up to the computer rooms. As I was heading there, saw a lady in, a woman in like a 1980s dress. Like, you can't, it was like a silhouette, a greyed out silhouette. You could see it was there, but it was just not full. What? It was basically like how you see a shadow on a wall, but it wasn't attached to the wall. It was suspended in midair, and it just phased through the door into the hall, or the entrance hall. That was, it wasn't scary, but it was certainly strange. And the other time is when I was going up to the maths room. Maths room's like, you have to go through the same direction. You have to get to the computer room, and the computers are old. So you have to go through, past the computer room, and there's a flight of stairs. There's a, I think it's like a servant-style staircase, which is in the back of the building, and we used that to get to the other floors. And the maths room was on the second floor, first door to your left. So basically, it's just literally straight up to your left of the, not to the left of the staircase is the door to your maths room, and then to the right you have to go through another door, then down another corridor, and then into like the English room. The science room was in a separate building because, well, we actually had hazardous chemicals there, believe it or not. And I've got a fun story about that one. Let me just give you a hint. I accidentally made thiacetone, the world's stinkiest chemical, cleared that building out and the school grounds with that. That was funny. Although it was a very weak concentration, but it just certainly lingered. So as I was heading to the maths room, I could hear talking. Coming from the English room. So I opened the door, went down the corridor to see what was going on, because there wasn't a class going on in the English room. And all the other students knew there wasn't a class going off in the English room at that time. But we could hear talking. And we asked the teacher who's in there, and she said, nobody. And we're like, okay. So me being a bit of a rebel, decided to have a look. Could hear the talking, could hear it getting louder, you could actually start hearing words, and went in there, nobody there. So yeah. Well, the activity in the old school isn't threatening. You know it's there. And it's certainly a fright when you experience it, but at the end of the day, it's there. They know, they want to be heard, they want to be seen, but they will not bother you at all. Then again, the location that my school was based up in Wordsworth, there was a lot of lead mines up there. And I mean a lot of lead mines. So you can imagine how many people died in those hills from falling down mine shafts to methane explosions from mining, suffocation, collapse. It's not like, how would I put North Derby? I'd say it's about as raw as the Cotswolds. Similar environment, hills, small villages, bit of history dotted here and there. There's a bridge down where I live, and what's called Swarkstone Bridge. And every so often, it's a residual haunting, Swarkstone Bridge, because it's after every year there's apparently the sounds of battle going off up there, you know. Sounds of cannon fire, well, yeah, cannon fire, swords clashing, screaming. But it's at a distance. So it's constantly on a loop. Every year it plays. I don't hear it for where I am at, but I've heard stories. There's a castle just near Burton-on-Trent. I've heard a story that it's haunted, well, that a cult used to be there. Now, don't quote me on all this, I may be wrong. But I've heard that there's a demonic entity there. Am I spiritual? Am I religious? No, I'm not religious. Spiritual, I'm agnostic about it because I've had experiences that I can't explain. Some of the experiences I've had I can explain away now. Like the possibility of the talking in my old school could have been due to the fact that since the walls are solid and sound tends to bounce off walls, could have been a conversation a bit further on, and that could have been the cause of it. Still creepy nonetheless. You know, where you hear conversations coming from a room and you expect people to be there and they're not. Or you see somebody walking down a hallway, you chase them down to get their attention and they're no longer there. I've had a few of them. Anyways, Pebbles is doing fine. She's been actually keeping me company while I've been ill. I'm still waiting for Amazon shipping of food, so I've just been to the shop and got some more food. Tie her over a bit. She won't go hungry. My baby's well looked after. And she's happy as well. Yes, my wall is old. Paint's faded before anybody complains. Then again, I haven't redecorated my room in over a decade, so before anybody starts, it's a little thing called wear and tear. Because we're not all made of money.